caught my imaginary gamer friends sneaking out one night. I usually just force them back into the wardrobe, but I didn't do that this time. I hopped onto the back of the motorcycle and we spread off into the night. We drove until the road ended. There are a lot of people in that city, they said, looking down at the twinkling horizon. I bet if we went there, we could find someone like us. Feel like giving it a try? A lot of people make up the world, I answered, not yet ready to commit. We're 12, I argued with myself. We need to keep our heads down and get through high school. Then we can do what we want and find our people, just for a little while longer. I have to go back into the wardrobe, don't I? Want to work on Beauty and the Beast before you do? Of course. Hi everyone, I'm Kit and welcome. This is my first video and I wanted to take a few minutes to explain my vision for this channel. I would apologize for the bait and switch, but the intro demonstrates a lot about my idiosyncrasies, so I'm not going to. Please sit back and watch the supercut of me fishing in Stardew Valley while I drone on about myself for a minute. I've called this channel Kit Krabby. Krabby because I have sky-high storytelling standards and I do get grumpy at storytelling that doesn't measure up. While I was never forbidden from playing video games, no one ever encouraged me to play them, computer or otherwise. None of my friends played, and most of them parroted back the propaganda that video games were for antisocial nerds that had no friends. Unless it was free day in the computer lab, in which the entire class always competed to see who would last the longest before dying of dysentery. So I always kept my interest in video games as my secret sin, hidden in the back of my wardrobe, never to see the light of day, only to be let out when no one was watching. Fast forward a couple of decades, after growing up, graduating from college, and finally getting all my shit together, I married a gamer. With his encouragement and guidance, I resurrected my interest in gaming. I'm here to take my love of video games out of the darkness and bring it into the light, but not direct sunlight. 40 years in the wardrobe has turned my interest into a semi-translucent ghoul that will probably burst into flames the moment I drag it out of the house to go to its first convention. I am horrible at 2D platformers. The modern side-scrolling Mario games are essentially baby games as far as the normal difficulty goes, and I still can't keep from seeing the game over screen over and over again. I love watching horror game Let's Plays. Playing them is another can of beans entirely. If it's a first playthrough and I'm going in blind, I have to break the gaming sessions up into tiny little chunks, or I give myself nightmares every single time. I bought a horror game once because it was really hyped up by the owner of a tiny video game store in a dying mall back in the early aughts. I got it home and played it for about an hour. This guy haunted me for at least a week after that. As a side note, my stomach drops and I've gotten dizzy more than a few times if I happen to be playing a video game and walk around a blind corner and find that I'm standing on the edge of the cliff. I'm half decent at best when it comes to RPGs. I can work my way through them eventually, so long as the puzzles aren't overly complicated. If you're here to watch expert playthroughs, this is not the channel for you. If you want to watch a player bumble her way act backward through a puzzle and not be able to explain how its solution works afterwards, grab some popcorn. The best skill I have is patience. If you've ever played a game from the 1990s, you know how clunky the gameplay can be, and why many people choose to watch the playthroughs instead of playing the games themselves. Tank controls. Hidden pixels. Do I need to explain further? I'm always the first person to crack a joke about skill issues if I keep dying over and over, so the struggles of the 90s gameplay doesn't affect me. If a game's story is good enough, I will keep mashing on buttons for as long as it takes to brute force my way through the story. My goal with this channel is to catch up on all the awesome video games that I have missed while my gamer ghoul has been hibernating, rant or rave about them as the situation dictates, and post about it on the internet. As I implied when I explained my channel name, ranting or raving will depend predominantly on a game's story quality and, to a lesser degree, the gameplay. Gameplay that does not add to the story or is essentially shoehorned in just to increase the time it takes to complete the game drags down the story quality and, in my opinion, is lazy writing. Truth be told, I have been known to rage quit games that have an in-story gameplay loop that literally has you fighting the same boss over and over, and the battle is essentially the same every time with just a slightly different attack pattern. It's probably my hot take, but the two games that I'm thinking about specifically are generally well liked online, but I just could not continue. There was no benefit. And no, Rule of Rose isn't one of the two. Rule of Rose was self-aware enough to realize that you have to change it up after 3 loops, and then shuffle things in a way that cranks the tension to 11. I finished Rule of Rose, and I rather enjoyed it. It just took me 6 months to work my way through it. Enough about me, onto the channel content. I want to play retro games, ones that were popular back in the day as a kind of time capsule of what has been. I will be kicking this channel off with games that are readily accessible on Steam or GOG, but when I mentioned that I married a gamer, I forgot to add that I also married a collector. There is a potential avenue in the future that I can get us set up in order to record games that are playable in their original formats and ones that aren't as accessible on other platforms. I want to focus more on long-form content, so that means I will be uploading more on a monthly or every other month basis, depending on the length of the game. So no, I will not be pumping out weekly short episodes that will get filed into a multi-part playlist. I was going to start with Mean Streets, the first in the Tex Murphy cyber noir adventure series that originally released in 1989. I've never played or watched any Let's Plays of it, but the previews on Steam make it look pretty good, and I do love a good mystery. But it's the beginning of spooky season, so I think I'm going to start with something in that vein. Just something I'm reasonably familiar with so I can get it recorded in time for Halloween. I'll pick up Mean Streets in November. Well, that's all for now. If you've watched the video this long, hopefully you've liked what you've heard. Please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you have any game suggestions for me, please let me know down in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions. And if you want to see me take spooky season by the horns, please don't forget to subscribe so that you are the first to know when the video drops. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am Kid Krabby, and I cannot wait to start this video.